life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. We are here today to present you with B West Division's Murky's Hit Squad versus Minion Miners. B East, my bad. I don't know why I said B West. Anyways, we're going to be getting ready to get into the match here just shortly. Excuse the background noise. We got some activity going along, but it should be resolved shortly. It's just kind of the nature of things anyways. Everything is updated where I will bring up the overview so everyone can see. So the bands that we have here is Braxis Holdout and Accursed Hollow. From Murky's Hit Squad, and the bands for BOE and Tomb of the Spider Queen for Minion Miners. And we'll be playing on Volskaya Foundry to start. A surprisingly popular map these days. We are just waiting for the moment. The next... for everyone to get in, it looks like we're just running a tad bit behind. I think I need to link the I think that might be the issue that we're having here actually at the moment. Make sure that we got things set up. It looks like we're missing Sir Mac of Cheese. Lee man that we are having on the side. Alright, everyone is updated. Should be good to go. Sorry about the score saying Minion Miners is up one because they're not. So I think we have everybody set up appropriately. I just have to get the okays from everyone in chat and we'll be getting right into the game.
They always just get worried when they...
I love your car, by the way. That would definitely be one that I would love to trade ours for. It's a Mitsubishi Lancer.
So
that's a long drive.
yeah.
Yep. Unfortunate. Alrighty, folks, we're going to be getting into the draft here right away, starting on Volskaya Foundry. Hopefully this will realize that we're in the game.
Stop.
Alrighty, starting off the draft strong, we're going to be seeing a ETC ban and a Johanna ban. Both very strong in the meta. I think those are basically the top two tanks. I'm going to actually bring up the statistics. Yeah, 80% win rate with a 61% popularity there for ETC, which is just massive. I don't think Johanna's win rate is as high, but I'm pretty sure the popularity rate is a bit higher. 95%, which is pretty substantial. We are going to see a Li Ming ban, and that's kind of a bit of a surprise, but it is a good pick here on this map in particular. 44%, not a bad win rate. Like anything around 45% to 55% is generally, I'd say, can be considered somewhat a reasonable win rate. If it's below, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes you win more than you lose, and sometimes you lose more than you win, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad pick. And we're going to see the first pick there on the Diablo, though. 28% win rate with a 61% popularity. It is not an overperforming hero by any means. Yeah, we're just going to go from there. So Diablo, and then that's going to be followed up with a Lucio and Thrall pickup. I like both those picks. Lucio definitely, on this map, can get great value, as it's big enough to warrant the need to roam between lanes, but small enough that speed, actually gets you some sort of value since the nerfs. And we'll bring up the stats on that hero quickly. Just give me a moment while I get everybody updated. Let's actually take a look at the Lucio, because I'm actually quite interested to see how well he's been performing here in Div B East. 33% popularity with a 56% win rate, so slightly above what I would say a reasonable win rate. And so 56 is actually pretty good. Maiev being banned out here, if you know the enemy team plays it on this map in particular, it can be quite good for ganks, engagements, and as we can see here, sitting at a pretty good win rate when taken, so definitely a strong pickup. Thrall on this map too as well. It's probably one of his best maps, as he doesn't have to macro offlane, and again, reasonable win rate, not bad, but this takes other maps into consideration, so I'd say on this map in particular, it's probably actually a really good pick. It is an early Thrall, but I think that this map is one of the maps that you can justify early Thralls, because it's a contested pick in a lot of team compositions, and can generally get really good value. And an early Thrall here, you're not really giving anything away. It's either an off lane or it's a secondary DPS. Even in this slot, we don't know 100% if it's going to be off lane or not. Even if the off lane player took it, they can swap it. And that's kind of the power of that pick gives you. So we're going to get Hanzo actually out of Marshhole. And that's a good pickup. And Hamibo's going to pick up Anubarak. Anubarak has definitely fallen down in the statistics. I'm actually going to bring him up, as I do think that he's underperforming. High popularity, but really low win rate. 31% is not a good win rate at all. So we're going to see the Chromie, and so now we know for sure that Thrall is going to be the offlane, which is perfectly fine on this map. There's definitely nothing wrong with that idea there. And I do like Chromie. Chromie I've been slowly understanding on this map for sure. I think you have to have the right compositions to make it really good. But I think overall it's a pretty strong pick. And Imperious. Imperious is an interesting composition or pickup. I do actually like it into the Thrall. And we'll see how well it actually kind of nets out for them. Into the offlane Thrall, it's not bad. And it's actually good at pressuring Anubarak in particular. Like Imperious can really chunk his health pool down nice and quick. So I do find Minion Miners draft a bit interesting in the sense that we have kind of an aggro aggressive like Lucio Anubarak and Thrall with some long range poke heroes like Hanzo and Chromie. There's not a whole lot of like upfront burst or targeted burst damage that's going to be killing a lot of people without having good breakdown, but who cares? Let's get into the game here. Oh, did I even update? I better have updated. If I didn't, it's not going to work. Oh, I did. Okay, good. Alrighty, on the left side, we have Murky's Hit Squad, Chess Clue on the Diablo, EKB on the Phoenix, Sealy Man on the Jaina, Flute on the Stukov, and Bishop Nest on the Imperius. And, you know, there's obviously a good synergy between Jaina and Phoenix that I overlooked talking about. And on the right side, we have Minion Miners, Marshall on the Hanzo, Irdak on the Chromie, Wesker on the Lucio, Himibo on the Anubrak, and, of course, Murderin on the Thrall. I didn't get a lot of talking about both these teams, so Murky's Hit Squad, I think, is sitting at about... this is the 5th and 6th seed, actually, going at each other, so this should be an actually tight matchup between these two teams. Yeah. Monkus, of course, not in here on the co-cast, oddly enough. So he's trying to take up the slack there in the chat. And, you know, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that you kind of have a dive tank who has to stay on the front line and eat damage from things like Phoenix with some very poke-oriented backline. You can dive with Thrall and Lucio, but Thrall has to not be in the off lane for that to actually work. So it'll be interesting to see if that is if this works out. Now you can somewhat play a Nubrak as kind of like a as a peel tank. He does have lots of stuns, which are very good at stopping any type of major dive coming in on your team. But he has to play that matchup really smart. So really good usage of W. You can't dive in almost ever. And they really got to use that Lucio speed and all that kind of stuff like that, really just to make sure that they're disengaging very well. And Cocoon quite often is going to be about removing aggressive heroes like Diablo from getting into the backline. And I think I think that's a perfectly viable way to play Nubrak. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that style. But I feel like most Nubrak players don't understand how to play that style. You could say the same thing kind of about Diablo 2 as well, where they don't have, they just don't quite have that I can't press my Q button mentality. But here we got a little bit of engagement coming in onto Hanzo, but it didn't get the wall stun, and we kind of saw right there a bit of the the impale being used to properly peel out. I'm sorry for being a little bit slow on the level 1 talents there, but we can get a nice little look at the talents for everybody. I'll pop this back down in about 10 seconds. But we actually saw a bit of what we were, my fear being in this matchup is that Himibo is going to get poked out pretty hard by Phoenix Jaina in a lot of these engagements, and Nubrak becomes a viable kill target, especially when you have something like Imperius in your arsenal, who's extremely good at burning down tank targets. Nubrak not the most beefy when it comes down to the health pool, using more of his kit to peel out his damage, but when you kind of combine it with everything together, it gets a little bit hairy. We see a little bit of push coming up in the top lane. Both teams got the camps, and both have have at least one turret. No one going in for the heal item. But it looks like Minion Miners is either just going to give this up, or they're going to be taking in a late contest. 67% already got, and I think that we might see Murky's Hit Squad want to just back out of this. And, maybe clear up the top lane, hit level 7s. I mean, with 79%, they could even go for the heal item, give themselves that bit of an advantage before they take another engagement. Now, but here's the thing, though. We do have a pretty good position for Minion Miners. This is one thing that I would say is the point of this draft, in that with Thrall Roots and Anubrak stuns, walking in on, diving past him and onto any of these targets is going to be difficult. Plus, you've got the time traps. But as we can see, Himibo getting poked down really long, and there is the lack of sustain. There goes the engagement off the chest clue. Probably going to get the pick off on Himibo, who drops to about 70 health. Has to back out there, and now we're going to see it flip over conversion. But no one did die. So Himibo has the opportunity to get back into this contest. And we're still very much on both sides ready to go. Big silence, trying to stop any major engagement, and it is enough to secure the objective. So very well played by Murky, his hit squad. Diablo did get chunked really hard there, and is not going to be able to step up. And this is kind of one thing that I've seen talked about by a few people in the league, which is that first protector is so monkey ass sometimes to take, as it just doesn't really do anything. Look how low it is, especially through all the poke of Chromie Hanzo. And again, both these heroes are very good at hitting a huge target like this. So, you know, there's the advantage. Nice engagement coming out onto Chromie, but it's not going to do enough damage. And Jaina actually dies to Thrall in the bottom lane. I didn't obviously see that. So, you know, good on him. Jaina probably isn't the right choice there, but Imperius was in the protector. So nice trade out, and honestly that protector didn't get a lot done. It got a gate in the top lane, didn't even get the front wall here in the mid lane, and all that poke damage coming in from Chromie Hanzo is really working out here. And so really starting to see the value of this composition here from Minion Miners, and it's starting to really take off. 2 kills now with Phoenix. They're not able to warp out in time with the root coming in from Thrall, and that's a good thing about Thrall into Phoenix matchup is that it's really easy to hit those roots. Yeah, so, early protector really showing there kind of how weak it is. And you can spend a lot of resources trying to earn that thing in the early game. But if you've got really good defense, it's kind of like a good example would be Tomb of the Spider Queen, like early turn-ins. If the enemy team has something like a Gul'dan or Junkrat or anything like that, it becomes incredibly difficult to get good value out of those things, even if you've got a decent push comp. And so sometimes the early turn-ins aren't really worth it unless you can back that up with like a second or a third. And that's kind of the thing here. We see a little bit of chip damage on the walls. This could potentially get us some advantage here, but if they don't get the next objective, it's all going to be moot, and everything that Minion Miners can get out of it is going to be a whole lot more. EKB getting just poked out. But a good engagement coming out from Diablo. He is dropping in health, but Chromie is not in a good spot. And actually now Weskra getting really focused, and he's going to go down. Lucio dying here. And we still don't see a trade out, although the initiation does come in from Murderin. He gets the kill after Chessclue pushes him into the fort towers. But that slowing sands actually peels him out. And we actually see Jaina go down, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. A lot of aggression coming up from Minion Miners here. They do have to be careful, as they can still be pressured here by Murky's hit squad, but that rotation by Diablo was not very good, although that's going to trade out into a kill onto Thrall. EKB is going to warp himself out there, so net value, I'd say the fact that they got this tower and a bit of this front wall overall is good for Minion Miners. Did they get a Souls reset as well? If they did, that's a huge exchange for them. Or was he actually just sitting at 10 souls? That just doesn't seem to me to make any sense. There's no way he was already at 10 souls. So I'm pretty sure that kill did reset his soul count, which I think in the end nets out in favor of Minion Miners for sure. So we saw Minion Miners get 14%. Not a huge lead on this objective here at all. But with Thrall soaking in the mid lane, they are getting a slight experience lead, and that's definitely going to add up. Given the fact that they are already half a level experience chance into or about to hit 13s. I lost my train of thought there. 40% channeled. 13s are going to be, so we either need to get an engagement from Murky's hit squad, or they need to peel out of here before they lose Diablo. He is squishy Diablo, and he is surrounded right now, and I don't think he's going to stay alive much longer, and that is exactly what happens. He does go down. Cocoon coming out onto Jaina. We're going to see Bishop Mist and EKB get really low. That combo, all that burst damage was more than enough to kill it. And into this composition, the Phoenix is having a rough time. It's not easy for him to survive through all of that poke. Like, he's got such a big hitbox. It's not hard for decent players to get those shots. And we can see this long-range poke and new peel is actually working out really well for them. I do think that Murky's hit squad themselves did waste a bit of time there and didn't pull the trigger on an engagement. And if they don't pull a fast trigger on engagements with this composition, they're not going to get those victories. Nice time stop to just make sure that Bishop Mist doesn't get a good engagement onto the backline squishies, because that's the major threat here. We still don't have 13s. We do have 96% coming in, and with the slowing sands, there's really no way they're going to be able to poke in here. And there we go. Minion Miners is going to get the second protector. And this is going to do, I think, a significant more amount of damage. Dragon Arrow does whiff, does go right by. Bishop Mist being pressured a little bit, but it does have great self-healing, so I don't think that's a major deal. And they are still holding on to one of their turrets, which should help out into the next objective. Top forward is most likely going to go down here. Not sure what Minion Miners is going to get otherwise out of this. But with the top fort down, they're going to start making the rotation into the mid lane and or bottom lane. I think the goal in the end is to try to get this well here. But we can see that they're just not going to bother with that. They're going to sit here and take out towers. But no, now they're going to make the rotation down to the bottom lane. So good move for them. They figure might as well get something while passing, but it's not going to slow down their rotation. So 30 seconds left. They can probably get this top tower, top wall, and maybe get this well here. They're going to go ahead and clean up the wave, though. And now the initiation is coming in from Chesh's Clue. Drops and Bishop Mist, and they drop the turret onto the backline. But unfortunately, there just wasn't any damage follow-up onto any targets, and they didn't really get a clean initiation. And the thing about Earthquake is it actually punishes both Diablo and Imperius quite hard. And with those 2 kills, that's not only going to be a well, but they're actually going to be able to push up here and take out this fort. They do have decent siege damage with Thrall and Chromie, and Hanzo's not too bad at it, for that matter. So 16s are around the corner for Minion Miners. They are definitely in a strong position here on their choice of map, which I guess makes sense. You know, they came in here with a strategy in mind. Obviously forced into map pick mostly by Murky's hit squad, but I gotta say it's definitely working out for them. And now they're gonna set their sights onto the mid fort. Might as well remove all of these safety structures, see if they can pick off all the front layer of wells. And that's going to give them advantages in exchange, generally speaking. But they are opening up a window maybe to see if they can find a good pick. But it is 16 to 14, so stepping up is a risky matter. And I think they're just going to have to give up this fort, and that's what we're going to see. No way to really effectively soak the top lane, so we're going to see mid soak, and we should see some bot soak as well. This camp pushing out the top lane pretty well, but it's going to get cleared out eventually here by Marsh Hole, as with Explosive Arrow, they have pretty decent wave clear on both of their DPS players. Yeah, I mean, they have the tools to get through, but really a lot of the engagement is based off of Diablo Charge and Imperious Q, and with really well placed Earthquake, which is what we've been seeing from Murderin time and time again. It really kind of negates their ability to get in and out, and that and even get clean engages for that matter. And maybe in this one, I might have preferred something like APOC to help kind of stall things out long enough for his DPS, the DPS from Murky's hit squad, actually to step up and do damage. Which at this point, they don't really have that ability. And, you know, I really like Minion Miners' macro play. They realize they still have this advantage, and they're still going to leverage it as best they can. 2 heal items, a turret. 2 turrets? No, just 1 turret. And so they're feeling relatively safe here, pushing up onto this wall. 16s are not in place. And most of the engagements have not been going in Murky hit squad's favor. We do see Phoenix making the rotation down, so I do think with 16s, Murky's hit squad is going to be looking for that initiation. But just, you know, Thrall was probably the idea target that they were actually going for there. But on his mount, he was hard to hit. I would have almost preferred them to actually pick off the Nubrak, which I feel like in this match they haven't really been putting enough pressure into, because they really do have the tools to put pressure into it. And we do see massive start going on to Nubrak. No initiation was even brought in, so that is on cooldown for another 12 seconds. And now all the pressure is coming in onto the Diablo. There goes the Earthquake too. He's going to use the Lightning Breath to try to stay alive. Frost Ice Block basically being used by Jaina to not die, but unfortunately just kind of stalls out the death. And now with Lucio, the chase is on, and again, low mobility heroes getting punished really hard. Diablo is back. Bishop Mist had already backed out, but Diablo has no more souls. Hasn't managed to get any charge stacks, and both their DPS and healer are dead. So bottom objective probably going to be going to Minion Miners, and with all the work that they've done into this, this could actually threaten core. Sea Shrine is no longer like an auto win. Yeah, I get that they want to enable it, but they also have a lot of other forms in which to do that, and not having a major like AoE stun makes it so they really can't get any good initiations into it. They just drop Cocoon and Earthquake, and that's it. That's the end of the initiation. They can't do anything past that. So, you know, Slowing Sands even, they don't even need to use the Earthquake in a lot of these cases. Slowing Sands alone is doing enough to be able to actually stop it from happening. But yeah, C doesn't necessarily guarantee keep, and could still be the case here if we get a good defense out of Murky Set Squad. But with this bottom wall completely gone, and the amount of siege damage that we do have from everyone, and that's, they hit pretty well there, looking for that good back initiation. They still don't get the wall stun, which is a little bit of a problem, but Marshall is in trouble. There goes the Lightning Breath to see if they can get it. But where is the combination that we were talking about with that Purification Salvo? It just didn't really seem to hit the targets that were really being focused by the Lightning Breath, and that unfortunately is the goal. So despite the fact that they put all that pressure into trying to kill Marshall, they instead dropped 3 heroes, and I think Minion Miners is just going to have a clear walk right up to the core here. Even if they pop this, Chromie's going to pop out and do an absolute massive amount of siege damage and get this core. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be GG. Game number 1 going to Minion Miners, especially with that pick off of Jaina. There's just no hope for defense. So despite some of my initial reservations about the draft, in the end, they had a lot of tools in which to punish the low mobility heroes that we actually have on the side of Murky's Hit Squad. Like, almost every ounce of this draft is designed to keep them away. And they did a very good job of that, just long enough to get all the poke damage they needed. And they had enough CC on their own side to make sure that they could guarantee the kills off of that. So in the end, strong draft, did a really good job, and actually, I like it. It was a good choice. We'll bring up the talent screen one more time so everybody can take a look to see what was happening here. And then we will go to a break while we get up game number 2, and hopefully Murky Sit Squad can make something happen in game number 2 for us. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for game number 2 between Murky Set Squad and Minion Miners. Minion Miners taking the lead in game number 1 on Volskaya Foundry on the map of their choice. Taking a look at the overview. Now we get the second map, which is going to be Cursed Hollow, as Murky Set Squad again opted for first pick. So that will be where Minion Miners is taking us for the second game. Interesting that it's showing up on this side, but not showing up on this side. That seems a little weird. Huh. Oh, well, maybe something to point out to Falendrith to look at in the future here, but well, no biggie. As long as it shows up on this side, I don't really care. Everybody's just getting into the draft and into the screen now, so we should be ready to go. Just gonna give everybody the okays that I am ready, steady, ready to go. Ready, steady, ready to go. Ready, Freddy, steady, Betty. There goes the R's. Everyone is ready to go. We're going to be starting right away. And into Cursed Hollow we are. Game number 2. Peanut Gallery. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see what the chat says. Yep. Johanna gonna be the ban again, and ETC again taking out the strong tanks here in the meta. Still gonna leave open things like a Nubrak, which was played very well. Zeratul actually going to be the ban out here, and that's one I can actually pop up the stats for. Zera has not been as popular since the changes to Wormhole, as it does make him a riskier pick, but I still think he's quite strong, and definitely something worth worrying about in draft. So I think a decent ban. As we saw, his win rate's still quite high, despite his pick rate being significant or popularity rate being significantly lower than it has been in the past. And that's going to be Dahaka. Dahaka definitely has kind of fallen into a map-specific hero. So more of a niche. As we can see, his popularity rate is 22%. He's not taking, on every map by everybody these days. But still has some very strong maps that he can definitely perform well into. And we see it here, the first pick. Wesker are going to pick up the Lucio again. It worked out quite well for them. Again, if they're going to go for a poke style, and that's going to be a Falstad coming in. Kind of matches the global. But what it does do that Dahaka doesn't do. So Dahaka has a potentially better global. And he can disrupt backlines pretty well. Falstad is a squishy hero that takes skill to maneuver well in battle. And to get good damage value out of. Now you can kind of shore up some of that weakness in damage with a Hinterlands Blast, but what I think he's really good on this map with is actually Gust. And in response, a classic response to Falstad actually is going to be the Muradin Genji combo. Muradin and Genji are both very good at getting onto squishy backliners like Falstad and bursting them down before they have the chance to get any good sustain. So we're going to pop up the Muradin win rate, 42%, 24% popularity. Again, more of a comfort pick, player-specific value with an okay win rate. It's not great. It is below the 45% threshold for what I would consider, a decent. But not by much. It's just a little bit. So it is very specific. But we're going to bring up the Genji at a 5% popularity rate, really fallen off from several years ago, but a 50% win rate. Means it's working out for the teams that take it, and might be the case here into... Excuse me. Into Minion Miners. And Nubrak is going to be banned out here. I don't think I brought up his stats last time. Oh, I did, actually. Jeez, I am so dumb. Yeah, he had a 31% win rate, but we saw that it was very strong in this matchup in particular, and definitely something worth banning out. So we're going to get Deckard instead. 2% popularity with 0 wins so far, so not a hero that's been really working out for anyone. Interesting pick, but it is decent on this shrine, on this map in particular, so you can definitely see some of the value coming out of it. We're going to get Uther, and I think Uther is still sitting at some disgusting win rate at like 100%. Yep, there it is. 2% win or popularity with 100% win rate, which is just insane. And Ragnaros is going to be the pickups. And you know what? I've been totally falling behind on making sure that everybody is getting allocated. So I need to actually fix that. There's going to be double support Uther tank with a Lucio, which I love. I really like that, actually. It's a good setup. And Murderin is going to be taking Ael'thas. A little bit of swap shenanigans going on there, making my life interesting. We're going to get Bishop Mist on the Junkrat. Polka Flute on the Anduin. All right. I can do the introductions later, obviously. Let me just get actually... Just talking aloud. Oh, needed to. Cursed Hollow is not officially banned. If the thing was showing that, it's wrong, and something I'll have to look at and why it was showing that. It was Tomb of Spider Queen, BOE. Oh geez, what were the Raxus? I think I must have misheard Cursed Hollow.
3, 2, 1. Fight.
Yeah, I might have just misheard it. I probably set it up incorrectly. In fact, the team that picked it was the team that technically banned it, so I'm not sure about that whole setup. Oh no, it wasn't. It was banned by... I think we might have to actually remake this unless everybody is okay with it. Yeah, because it was actually banned by Murky Sit Squad. Yeah. Can I whisper people here? Nope. I don't know. If someone else outside of me in this game can maybe whisper one or two of the captains and get a pause going here so we can sort this out, because we made it all the way through the draft, but I think we might need to restart this, as that is why the pick didn't show up on the side. This is actually not supposed to be played. Cursed Hollow was banned. Yeah, it's a big oops. I mean, I'm so dumb that I couldn't have figured out that that was the case off the fact that the ban was sitting right there in front of me. So, you know, definitely my fault. But, you know, I'm also not the one playing this matchup. And so I guess everyone's fine with this conversation not happening. And we're just going to play out on Cursed Hollow. But I don't know how this is supposed to be handled, because I think this is actually a big mistake. If a map is banned, we shouldn't be playing on it. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. People are just going to leave. We're just going to have to re-pick. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. What? No, they can't read my chat. Yeah, I don't think they can read me. I'm pretty sure that to them, they can't see it. I mean, it is. They do need to call it, but, you know, it's definitely, in the end, not my call here.
Yeah, it's there. I just
So, but,
mentioned it after.
I think that... Yeah, exactly. This is a banned map. I'm pretty sure if they want to pull the trigger on saying that this needs to be remade, I'm pretty sure it has to.
But it's up to the.
Yeah. So you guys probably should remake. Yeah, it was a fun exercise. Yeah. I mean, if both teams agree to play out the rest of this match, go for it. But this is flat up a banned map, so... I don't know if there's a rule for this. I think straight up, if it's a map that's banned, you can't play on it, so... I mean, otherwise, what's the point of the bans if you're not actually gonna adhere to them? I mean, if they don't care, I'm all good for it, and I'll get back to actually casting this. But I really do think that this, if it's a banned map, they should remake. I don't think the rules have anything in place for this, guys. I'm pretty sure if the map's banned, it's just supposed to be banned, and no one would play on it if it's banned. If it were my call, I would say you guys need to remake and pick a different map. It's the only way to legitimize the bans, but I'm not the one in charge, so as I said, it's not really my job to referee. I just cast the match. Yeah, the rules don't say anything. There's nothing about this. Yeah, because it's self-evident. If it's banned, it's banned. I think you guys need to remake. Yeah, I would say let's just redo it. Okay, let's all leave. I'm gonna quit and just kind of force the issue. Let's get back to setting this up. That was unexpected. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, if a hero's banned, it's banned, right? You can't play a banned hero. If a map is banned, it's banned. You can't play a banned map. That's just flat out the way it is, and so we'll just have to redo this. Sorry about that, guys. Definitely, you know, my bad for not checking. Team's bad for not checking. We just need to get a different map. Yeah. Although many of us, I think, agree with the Ide. Yep. Well, I mean, technically, this was banned out by Murky's hit squad, so they could have called it as soon as we got into the lobby, obviously. So I'm waiting to be updated what the actual map is going to be, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So all that work for nothing. Nothing. But again, basically my own fault. I could have checked the bans myself and said, this seems a little odd as we have a ban on this map. I mean, I quite legitimately brought up this screen right here, and it says Cursed Hollow is banned, but we're going to Cursed Hollow. And I just thought that I misheard it, so, you know, that's why it's not my fault. Hey, I'm allowed to cop out. I'm the caster. All right. Alterac is going to be where we're going to go, so let me update the stuff. It's Cursed Hollow-y. It's close enough. So, there. See, now it's working. See, pick, ban, 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 ban. Perfect. We got it. Calculated. See, my overall goal was to make you all stay here much longer than you ever wished to and listen to me talk. It's totally sub-worthy. Hit that button, guys. Yep, chat, definitely doing the job, doing the work. Congratulations. We're gonna try to get through this as soon as possible. I mean, do I, or do I just leave it up because it's funny?
I'd leave.
Do I split this into 2 videos, or do I just say, you know, this is hilarious?
Stay in it.
Yep. All right. Let's get into it. We might see a similar draft just because, you know, Alterac, Cursed Hollow. They're not that much different.
Everyone.
Yep. I must advertise the depths of my own stupidity. I agree. Not that everyone wasn't already aware. Yeah, there you go. Tell you what, I will make sure it makes it onto the NGS Edge highlights as long as I get 2 subs in the chat before the end of the stream. All right? Give me 2 subs and it will be an NGS Edge highlight 100%. That is right. That's how I do this thing. Of course, people are going to be like, that is not worth $5.
It's not worth, but if you have time.
That is true. If you do have Prime, then it's no skin off your back anyways. Except that you'll be stuck, you know, being subbed to me for a month, which I get it. Very similar bans, though Lucio and Chromie were banned out actually here, which is interesting. I like it. That's actually adjusting to things in drafts for the map in particular. I like it. That is your Chromie stats, guys. It is nasty. Nice.
Halfway.
Okay, that's fair. Again, if 2 subs happen today, 100%, that is making it on NGS highlights, no doubt.
You will take them.
I will find a way to get a 30-second clip that gets enough of it across.
Oh, Monkus.
Oh, there we go. A boss. Thank you so much, though. I do appreciate it. As Mimi as that request was, I do definitely appreciate you guys helping me out there. Thank you. Hanzo is actually going to be the pickup by EKB instead of Genji. And, you know, feel free to add more subs, chat, if you're feeling extra generous. The Haka is going to be picked up again anyways. People still liking the globals here, which is why we're still seeing Falstad and Ragnaros available here at the moment. But Alex Straw's an interesting pickup, as that is going to be, you know, Anduin wasn't banned or picked away, but definitely preferred here on this map by Pokeflute is the Alex Straza. Maiev is going to be the ban again. Good. All right. Thanks for stopping by, Arrow. I appreciate it. Oops. Enumerak removed again, which is, I think it was so strong in the first game that it's definitely something you want to do. We're going to see Uther, and because Lucio's banned out, we're going to see the Kharazim. So, you know what? I really like Minion Miners sort of sticking to the original draft. That, you know, they understood that they kind of messed things up and are kind of not having to. This is a completely different map. They're totally not obligated to do this by any means, but they're still more or less sticking to kind of what they drafted before. And I like that. I think that that's an endearing quality of a team. I appreciate the, you know, making it fair for everybody. I mean, like I said, it was totally not necessary. I don't think anyone would complain. Murky's hit squad trolling me a bit with the, but that mix up, I did not expect we're going to see the Murky come in instead of the Kel'Thas. I like it.
Murky.
So I think we've got everybody on the appropriate things. I do like the Murky pickup. That's pretty cool. Murky's hit squad going up against Murky himself. We'll see if the hero is just too OP. Yep. They really got to kill him. He has a 0% win rate. So hopefully that changes today. 1% popularity means he has played. Yeah, but he hasn't won, so we'll see if that's the case here. But we saw a really good macro game and a really just strong game overall from the boys in red in game number 1. So without further ado, let's take a look here. We have on the blue side, looking for the equalizer, Murky's hit squad. Chess Clue on the Jaina Pokeflute playing the Alexstrasza, Bishop Mist on the Garrosh, Ikibi on the Hanzo, and Sealyman on the Dahaka. On the red side, we have Minion Miners looking for a domination to help propel them further up into the playoff standings. Wesker on the Kharazim, Himebo on the Earth, Uther, Murderin on the Falstad, Urdak on the Murky, and Marshall playing the Ragnaros. I mean, they essentially have 3 solo laners. Interested to see how this kind of works out. Good throw from Garrosh is definitely going to put Himebo in a spot he doesn't want to be in, and that's going to be a kill. Well done. Anyway, you can tell that door, it's blinding me a bit. I mean, this is quite interesting, this this proxying of waves with Murky. I think it's gonna cost him his life, though. But it does allow Ragnaros to get some good free push if you're onto the front wall without much contest. So it's an interesting strategy. I don't know pretty much anything about Murkies when it comes to playing them competitively. So we'll just have to see. Wesker and Himebo, the 2 supports working on this camp over here. I mean, they do have 3 basically solo laners, so makes kind of sense. Who else is going to do it? And good thing about these 2 is they can do this quite easily without dying, so. I'm going to point out Transcendence is the pick and not Iron Fists. So going for more of the just sustain into sustain. Alexstrasza and Hanzo working on their own camp, and they do it significantly faster. Double support on a camp is definitely going to take a long time to get anything done there. Silver Touch at almost 20 stacks, which is pretty good. That's a quarter of the way done. 22 now, so he's past that. Ikibi is going to be trying to get these stacks off of simple geometry. I think you can make arguments for all 3 of his level and talent, so nothing there. But the wave clear is definitely in favor of Murky's hit squad here with Hanzo, explosive arrow, and with Poke Flute just in general. Like Alex Graza's got really good wave clear. Mana efficient too. Good throw from Garrosh and a nice rotation from Chescaloo is going to guarantee that kill. And this camp is still pushing into the mid lane, although it is going to get cleared up here by the towers, which is good. But that wave is definitely going to get some work done, and the wave clear is just not here in the mid lane, so it's actually going to do some pretty good damage here to the front wall. It's not going to clear anything, but still good, like not bad at all. Falstad and Haka dueling it out in the top lane. It's always an interesting kind of fight between these two. I generally think as the game gets later on, Haka generally has a lot of tools to deal with Falstad. And generally speaking, if you're down on this half of the map, he can make his rotation faster. It's a little bit quicker than Fly, but if the Falstad like positions himself smartly, you can definitely do it. We're going to see Murky's hit squad actually move over onto the other opponent's side of the map and see if they can get a channel here with their level 7 talent advantage. It's going to be rough, though. They've got a good portion of ways, or a lot of ways to actually kind of poke this out. And Murky hasn't made the rotation. It looks like he's just going to stay in the bot lane and see if he can get some value. And this camp pushing out mid is actually really good. So, I don't know. I think that Murky's hit squad is kind of losing out a bit on the macro here. By not having, like, the Haka in the bot lane to deal with that. You know, they did finally split off, but no one is really fully... They do get some channel, though, and that's good. Jaina's going to push up on this. They know they don't have any, like, competition here yet. With the 4-man there. They did use bribe to steal this camp, and that's actually pretty nasty. On this map, they have 2 forms of bribe, which means they really need to get their own camp on cooldown. And Minion miners do manage to be able to stall the channel. So still 15 seconds. I think they're going to look to see if they can get an engagement here. EKB tried to channel. The engagement came out from Weskra. And Murky's just going to keep playing the macro. The longer they can stall this out, the better. Himibo is definitely going to get pressured here. He has to get back away. But Bishop Mist now is actually in a bit of trouble. He's going to have to see if he can get onto this circle there and stay alive. He is pretty low, but low Garrosh still, he's got a lot of hit points just naturally speaking, and nice. Gosh, I can never remember what the hell that thing's called. Barrel roll to avoid being thrown there. Good tongue, though, onto Falstad's going to guarantee this kill. Alex Straza putting in a lot of pressure onto Himibo. He had to use all of his heals there, and that was kind of what allowed that to be a kill there. And so we are going to get objective from Murky's hit squad, and this is good. Like, the fact that they can get objective will somewhat negate this pressure that Murky's been able to apply here in the bot lane, which is significant, to say the least. Dahaka is going to be back, or is he going to dig down? I have no idea if he has his dig available. I feel like he used it to get back up here. And so he's going to have to make the slow march all the way back down to the bottom. At least there's a couple bushes he could use. He should go through this way. Making this rear rotation might actually cost them a fort. Murky's just going to keep hitting it. Wave is gone, though, so he's going to have to invulnerable himself out. I'm probably focusing way too hard onto the value that Murky was able to get, but, I mean, hell, he almost killed this fort. I think that's effective use of Murky for sure. Marshall's going to go down in the mid lane, though, and that is going to be a fort. Like, mid fort's going to die. I don't think there's any doubt about that. With the damage boost, as soon as she gets another blizzard onto the fort, we see quite a bit of damage going in. And Himibo getting pressured by that Garrosh is going to get another kill. We see Wesker trying to sneak in behind to get damage onto the camp. But it is going to get this fort. So it is Hinterland's Blast, which is fine. The bosses aren't as impactful on this map. And there's not a lot of great places to push them. But I still think Gust is good here. Generally speaking. But if you want that burst damage, which you could argue they do lack a bit of. You see Murky seeing if he can snipe this. I mean, you might as well take those opportunities if they present themselves. But not going to be allowed there by Minion or Murky Sit Squad this time. So mid camp into mid camp are going to clash. I will argue that getting this mid fort is really good for the side of Murky Sit Squad, but this rotation from Falstad is actually going to cause a lot of problems here for Chess Clue. And it is going to be Bishop Mist, who unfortunately goes down. And that's a good kill for Minion Miners. The first one on the board. Mid rotation. Top got pushed in, though, by Hanzo, which is a good exchange. Trying to get enough value out of this camp as possible. But it still doesn't really even get the top tower, which is unfortunate. Bottom fort did eventually go down, though. Murky was able to apply the pressure needed to be able to do that. I think we're going to see Dahaka make the rotation back up to the top lane so he can get good use out of that global. But I guess they changed their mind and it's not going to do exactly that. So just clearing out the mid wave with Jaina. Hanzo doing his best to put some pressure in here. Sees the Murky, doesn't want to get hit by... I assume he went Octo Grab, which he did. Which can very well kill Hanzo, especially with the Falstad sitting there. So they do have to watch out for those Octo Grab engages. And Lava Wave is going to pressure that out, but we're going to see a flip onto Himibo. But honestly, it's where he wanted to be, so he dropped... Divine Storm gets the kill onto Hanzo, but we're going to see a 2-for-1 trade here with, I think, Wesker going down. Marshall doing his best to get the damage he needs to. Chesclu is in trouble here if Murky gets onto him with that Octograb, but he does peel himself out. Marshall does go down. Murky's got to watch out because the burst damage from Jaina is very good. Bishop Mist putting a lot of pressure on her Murderin. But that bribed camp is going to get value again in that mid lane. It will get cleared up by the fort towers. But that's going to be really annoying. Like, they do need to watch out for that. Both bribes actually being used. Macro being played very well by Minion Miners, but the fights have not been going in their favor, and Murky Sit Squad has definitely been getting an advantage there due to it. We do see percentage damage coming out. I think that that's good into Haka. I don't think it's great into Garrosh, as Garrosh doesn't really rely on percentage health to keep himself alive. He's one of those tanks that actually, a good 3-man arrow, but the throw goes onto Himibo. I think he positioned himself in a good spot to make sure that it wasn't onto anything like Falstad. The isolation coming out onto Wesker, though, to keep him from being able to get out, though he does maybe get out. No, he does go down. And again, we see the advantage goes to Murky's Hit Squad on the objective. But these camps, like, you can't ignore them. They do a lot of damage. The 20% armor reduction on structures is actually nuts. And it does a lot of damage. We're going to see Murky up here just doing his best to just really destroy any advantage that this brings, but it looks like he's gonna go down here. I don't think he's gonna live. Yeah, that's a dead Murky. So they're gonna clear up the top fort, and this is the thing that I've heard said plenty of times before. You want to use the camps to clear up the mid forts, and you want to use the objectives generally to get the edges, because while bosses aren't super strong on this map, they still do end games. And, you know, especially off of objectives, if you can get those. Nice aggression coming from EKB to see if he can actually get the pick off there. But he does get poked down pretty hard, but Alex Strauss keeps him alive. She does have decent healing throughput overall, especially with the build that I think he's going here, which is the Q build, which, you know, as long as you can stay high health, like, she has very consistent heals available. So one fort for the objective. Octograb does come out onto Hanzo, and that is going to be a kill. Murky setting up the first kill in a while here for Minion Miners, and Chesco is also going to go down on the Jaina there, and I don't think Bishop Mist is going to be able to peel himself out of this. That is going to be a kill, so great rotation from Minion Miners to find those pickoffs. And, you know, I think they did a decent job in defending this. That's actually going to give them a boss, which is not going to get a whole lot, but it will maybe get a top fort, and that will still equal up the structures. We see Murky making the rotation over here. He's going to see that it's Dahaka and Alex Straza defending. And, you know, I think he looks for this if he can get it. But for the most part, doing what he has been doing so far, which is just grabbing it while they're distracted on objective, is working out perfectly fine. So Boss is going to push top lane. We'll see if Murky's hit squad commits any resources to really clearing it up. It kind of depends on the push. Lava Wave, that's up in 13 seconds, will do a pretty good job of enabling the push from this boss. And if they don't really mount a good amount of defense, this is still going to be able to keep wall. It won't get much more than that, but you know, it's still a decent amount. And it will keep them distracted. They do even up the structures. They are now ahead in experience despite being down 4 kills. And curiously enough, this Murky composition is really working out. Mid camp's going to push up. It's going to get cleared, though, by Murky and the other camp, and that means this is going to be clearing in uncontested. And Minion miners are just not going to care about this objective too much. They're just going to back up, allow the channel to be halted. Lava Wave is going to get value into the bot lane. And I think Murky's hit squad is really going to be looking for a camp clear, which is exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to want to see if they can get aggression here. Now, I see Minion miners making the aggressive side, but this is kind of what Murky's hit squad wants. 3-man arrow is probably going to up this up, but we see the octo grab onto Jaina. No cleanses available. Garrosh is going to go down. Isolation did come out, and they did put a lot of pressure on Himibo, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, and that's actually going to be a 4-man team wipe. Cleansing Flame keeping Alex Straza out of it. But things have really turned around here for Minion miners in the teamfight area. They've caught up completely in kills. They're ahead almost 2 full levels. And with this objective, they're going to be threatening keeps. And that's exactly the position you want to be in. 5 seconds left on the objective. Mid camp's going to be pushing right onto the keep. This mid fort is pretty much a done deal. Alexstrasza should be able to clear this up pretty good. She's actually not bad comboing things in a line and actually burning them down. But it might get a tower still. And it's a denial. They don't have this up to counter the push. Ooh, and this is a good play. So level 20s. Lava Waves available. Boss pushing into the bot lane. And an objective is actually a huge combination of things in Minion miners' favor. And might lead them to end of the game. Now, this core is rough to burn down without 2 keeps at least. But with Lava Wave clearing up the top wave, that top camp is going to be pushing pretty much uncontested. Which is really good. And it does have a minion wave with it, which means those ranged minions are going to do a lot of work. This keep is already down. This boss is basically full health. And again, we saw Jaina get bursted down. They did get the kill onto Uther, which is nice, but it's an Uther who's just going to heal through it, and he has redemption, I assume. Nope, Divine Hurricane, so he didn't take redemption, so he does stay dead, but still does a lot of healing while dead, and I think that this is just going to be a foregone conclusion. Alterac pass going to be going in favor of Minion miners. They are going to take game number 2 and submit a domination here over Murky's hit squad and move up a little bit further in the standings, I believe. GG's. So we can say, Murky OP. You heard it here, folks. Two kills, 10 assists, and not enough deaths to count for 1 kill. So it actually comes up as 0. 152,000 siege damage, 19,000 experience soaked. And we saw him actually set up some fantastic kills with the Octograb onto Jaina. And without any cleanse, which is something that we do lack when you have an Alex Straza, there wasn't really a lot done. And into the fray, did he even take the talent? It was available, but not available enough to perhaps get Jaina out of those situations, unfortunately. So there you have it. We got really good damage. We just see Hinterland's Blast instead of Gust, but the burst damage was good, and we saw it actually stack up really well. And Falstad actually cleared up around 52,000 damage, which is really good. He can definitely dish it when he has the space to do so. Anyways, let's get ready for interview here. Let's get this appropriate. Show it now. All right, looking good. Get in, make sure that my thing is actually doing the appropriate audio. And then let's get into Flappy. How's it going?
Hello.
Welcome. Congratulations on the 2-0 victory. You know, probably would have been a 3-game series had we finished out that Cursed Hollow game.
I know. It was unfortunate. I apologize. That was everyone's fault.
Yep.
Hopefully it was funny.
It's across the board. My fault, your fault, the other team's fault. But in the
Everyone's
end...
like, wait, there's bans in this game. We forgot about that.
And, you know, you can't really completely cheese it. Like, you know, it's... If it's a band map, it's a band map. Like
I know.
You just can't
That's the
play
thing.
on
Like,
it,
well,
right?
this is probably not cool. But, you know,
But like,
they
there's
picked up
no
on the
rules. I'm just
Lucio,
like, yes,
so-
there is. The rule is pretty straightforward. If it's banned,
Yeah,
you can't play it.
Yeah.
So,
That's
anyways,
kind of the point of the bans.
yep, still a lot of fun. And you know, we got Alterac Pass and we got a Murky, and we got a Murky victory for the first time at B East. How does that feel?
Murky hype.
So yeah, that's my boy right there. Murky's in here. This is Urdak. He can tell you we were thinking we had to pick Murky against Murky's hit squad and see if they could live up to their name. You know.
The Murky was definitely premeditated tonight. The second they picked that Alex Straza, it's just like no cleanse. We gotta pick it. They're Murky's hit squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we saw that the lack of cleanse was actually a serious issue. Now, they did have Garrosh that could have entered the Frayed, I think. Or does that not work unless it's during the animation?
It does work, but I don't think he did it on any of the Octograbs.
Yeah, I didn't see it actually come out. Maybe he wasn't aware that it would actually cleanse it out. Had he been, it might have helped out quite a bit because prior to you guys getting those Octograbs, the team fights were not going in your favor.
Yeah. Well, I had to feed a few kills because if you didn't know, this latest patch, Uther was made so you can dance in his undead form.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually pretty OP strat if you don't know.
Crazy. But you didn't go redemption at 20. Was that just because Divine Hurricane is so much fun?
Well, yeah, that, but also they kept throwing me into the middle of the team, so I was like, well, bigger stuns, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's a free engage. And there's
Yeah,
no cleanse.
I was like, guys, they're just he loved flipping me, man. I was like, all right, well, if we're gonna do this, let's do it, you know?
So game number 1, you know, I was a little bit critical about the draft at first, but you guys really sold me on it in the sense that at least into what they had, it really was good at making sure that there was no real engagements that could happen. Is that a map and draft that you guys really like to play? Because I don't recall seeing you guys whip that out so far.
Go ahead, Cole.
So I think that our best drafts are the drafts that we have not done yet.
Okay.
Pretty much change it up almost every week.
Yeah.
If you ban something from last week or the week before, we're ready for some OP pick right after. So our drafts definitely are kind of like a flow chart. We're always ready to pivot. We're always ready to change and adapt to what they're picking. So it ended up becoming a poke comp at the very end with the Chromie lock. initially it was kind of like, let's get our strong picks and go from there.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
But it worked out. Like, I really liked the fact that it punished, both their frontliners, like, rely on the ability to be able to find targets off the initiation, like, right off the bat. And with Lucio, with the Nubrak, and with Thrall, there's just not a lot of ways you can do it. And for that matter, even slowing stands on Chromie just means that there's just so many things that nerf their ability to get in that by the time they do, they have no health. And then they can't leave. So it just kind of turns around, and it was a clever draft. I really liked it.
So yeah, the other thing we like to do is we pick the Thrall early in this case, but if we can, we like to pick heroes that can either offlane or go with the 4-man, and Thrall is a good example of that. So we could have put Thrall bottom or with the 4-man, just depending on what our draft is. So it leaves a lot of flexibility there. In addition to that, whenever they lock to the Diablo, we have the level 7 from Thrall, which is really helpful for bursting down because it does, I believe, 15% of Diablo's max HP. So yeah, we really liked the beginning of that draft, and just sort of evolved. The other thing too is we haven't picked a Hanzo or an A nub yet, and I didn't really like it because I thought it was too meta. With the A nub, I prefer to go something
There's
crazy.
nothing wrong with playing meta, guys. It's okay.
There definitely
No,
is something wrong.
I agree, but if you're a meme team, you know what I mean. It's it's a little too meta. But I'm happy to hear that you were skeptical because that's what brings me life.
I was, like I said, I was only really skeptical because I saw Lucio Nubrak, which usually indicates aggression. But you guys used it in a great way for peel. And the thing is it's not that can't happen, and that is not a meta strat. But what is not meta is the fact that when most people pick those heroes, they feel like they can only go one direction. And you guys showed that that's not the case, that you can absolutely use both the Nubrak and Lucio in a very defensive style and allow your poke damagers to do what they do best. And I think that's what I was convinced of. Not that I didn't understand what you guys were doing there, but that it's just something that you don't see teams transition to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also like that we had the counter engage too, So if we survived the initial burst with the Lucio, we had the follow up with the Hanzo arrow, with the root, as you pointed out, and then a nub burrow. It's just they're not going anywhere if they're already deep in there,
Yeah, and like if you look at the other draft where you have Diablo, he's another hero that can be played that way. He can be played defensively. And almost is better to be played that way because he's so risky to go in. If you don't get those initial kills with that fast damage, you're just not going to get any value out of the hero. And you could see that their draft was designed to get fast kills. But because he couldn't get any actual good engagements in because of all of the disengaged, slowing, stunning, everything that was going on, it just made it so the draft just wasn't working. Then it becomes, can you outpoke Hanzo Chromie? And generally the question on that one is absolutely
Thrall.
not. Yeah, and Thrall for that matter. Actually, he's very good at that. He can transition to both things. He's good on dive and he's good on poke, which is right. Which is why I liked that draft transition. We saw even Munkus was a little skeptical about the early Thrall pick, but I did defend your guys' pick on that and said that the thing about Thrall, especially on Volskaya, is that he can do both. He can be 4-man and he can be offlane, and that's where that powerful pick comes in because you don't know if they're gonna pick Chen in the last pick and become this uber nasty dive composition, or if they're gonna go exactly like you guys went, which was a good poke.
Well, and I will say that in addition to that, for Thrall, the Chain Lightning gets maximum value on Volskaya because you're sitting somewhere away from any wave of minions, so it's going to bounce to multiple enemy heroes, if that makes sense. So if you're fighting around like on Infernal, for example, it's going to bounce to the Skeletal Defenders, but not on Volskaya, so you're getting maximum value out of that Chain Lightning.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Game number 2, very good approach. I liked the double bribe. It did put a lot of pressure onto the enemy team to be mindful of their camps, and you guys punished them a lot of times in those aggressive plays onto your side of the map by just having Murky sneak around, go grab the camp, and it ended up taking almost a full keep wall and would have put pressure onto the keep of the game gone longer. So, I liked a lot of how you guys were thinking about the map. They got a lot of value in the early game with good aggression, but in the end, especially when on a map like Alterac Pass, when you get into the late game and you play the macro like that, it generally goes into the team that focuses on that much better.
Yeah, Urdak, what do you guys say? You were the Murky player there.
Well, I think Murky's my favorite hero personally because the whole goal is to have people chase you. If people follow me, I feel like I'm doing my job, and if I can get an extra 5-6 seconds of kiting
No
in,
deaths, by the way.
Well,
I think I
he
did
did
have
die a
one
couple
death.
times, but it wasn't enough to register as one kill.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I
they
did
killed
not
him
know.
twice, so he had 0.5, which wasn't enough to
Oh.
transfer over to a 1.
Rounding down, look at you, Blizzard.
Hopefully, we can play Murky a few more times this season and ultimately get a ban.
I think you guys made a good argument for it. So, you know what I mean? Alterac Pass, Murky could be a real problem. Now, if people... the problem with the Murky pick and generally why you don't see it in competitive is if it is anticipated, it can be countered in draft.
Oh, I 100%
Yes.
agree.
Yeah.
I would say we definitely showed our hand a little early on that Murky pick.
Yeah.
We've got plenty more loaded up, ready to fire away.
Yeah, for sure. It is, but like you said, it is a constant threat. So now teams have to make sure that they're thinking about that anytime they go onto a big map like Cursed Hollow or Alterac Pass against you guys. And I think it's good getting that win rate up. Using unconventional heroes in smart ways is kind of the MO of Minion Miners in the first place. And I think you guys showed that really well today.
I'm so happy that you've identified that. It makes me very happy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just there's nothing wrong with playing meta, and the really skilled teams, can pull it off and will punish teams that don't play meta some in those situations. But we have seen in HGC and beyond that teams that think up clever, smart drafts, can often counter meta compositions because of that. And we saw Fnatic do that a lot with the triple global span or the solo Tassadar on things like Sky Temple, where they used the map mechanics to their advantage. And I think Minion Miners is a good example of an NGS team that does that very well.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, and I know Urdak and the rest of the team does as well. And I think that it's kind of cool too, because I mean, ANUB is still considered pretty strong, and the benefit of picking weird stuff is sometimes you get to pick ANUB 4th overall because you had to ban a bunch of other crazy stuff.
Yeah, we made this argument about Soak Every Lane, where BMed plays heroes like Gazlo, Samuro, and all these other things, and then they ban
TLD.
all of those out, and he gets Thrall. And it's just like, but Thrall's a totally meta pick.
I know, right?
Hey, free pick. I get to run around on basically an OP hero. So,
I know, that's the best.
And that's the cool thing that drafting like that allows you to do. But what most people don't understand is it takes a lot of practice to get things like this to work. And especially in divisions like Division B or A or Heroic, to really get victories this way, you really have to understand what you're drafting and how to play it well. And as you guys continue to climb in the standings, I hope you can get a good spot into the playoffs and kind of make a case. Anyways, before we go ahead and shout outs for me.
All right, I'll go first. Ziltoid, thanks to you. Shouting out to you. We appreciate you. You do awesome analyst work on Edge and just on your stream. I think it's awesome for the league just because, reinvesting in the players, it makes the players feel really like really part of the community. And so I think that's why NGS is awesome and definitely the best amateur league out there. You're a big reason for it. You're on the Nexus Edge all the time, so we appreciate you. Shout out to...
We lost them.
Because they're awesome. Yeah, they go along with our crazy, everybody's crazy, which I love.
Can you repeat that shout out? Because you kind of cut out for a second.
Oh, dude, the worst. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I was just shouting out you, Ziltoid. I don't know where
not that
we
part. The
cut
next
off
one.
there.
You got me.
Okay, cool.
I don't need my ego stroked any further. I appreciate it.
Okay. No, I just like the rest of the team. They're crazy, just like me, which I appreciate. Especially Urdak, which is awesome, and we do crazy, insane picks, like the Murky Rag Falstead, which is amazing. And I would just like to say one more thing. We have Jailbait is kind of our rivals in the division. We did beat them in the playoffs last year in a three game series, 2-1, and then we had two of our players from last season join their squad. And I would just like to say that I look forward to dick stomping them later in the season.
Pretty graphic there, but can you remind the viewers of when that matchup is going to be being played?
That's supposed to be a week from Thursday. And yeah, sorry about the graphic nature of that. It had to be said. They're a graphic
Okay.
team. I apologize though. I hope that there are no young children in the audience. I'll stop talking. I talk way too much. Go ahead, Erdak.
Quick shout out, just a shout out to all of my teammates. Westgroff for being the best shot caller we've ever had. Himibo for being the tank that always does it. Marshall for always being the DPS that loves to just go in and pick what he picks. And finally, our last guy, Murderin. He's brand new to HOTS this season. He's really killing it. And lastly, I just want to drill into Jailbait here. They're really our nemesis. They're basically gonna lose, so we're probably not gonna ban against them, and that's gonna be that.
Heard you here, guys, and that's going to be a great show. I love it. Thanks so much for keeping the stream spicy. Congratulations on the victory, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
Thanks, Ziltoid. You're the best.
Thanks, man.
That's going to be it for me tonight, guys. I will find someone for us to host on this nice Wednesday evening. Thank you for all being here, and to the two subs, Arrow of the Storm, as well as Munkus. Much appreciated. Both good friends of mine here in NGS, and I definitely appreciate them helping support the stream a little bit further here. Everyone else in chat, if you haven't hit the follow button, please do, and I do appreciate you being here and watching it and keeping NGS alive in the way it is. I love casting these games, and I hope to continue to do so through the end of the season and into the playoffs. And I will be back tomorrow with the late game stream. It will be my birthday stream, so it'll be I'll be having fun for most of the day, coming back and continue to have fun with an awesome cast at the end, and hopefully I'll catch you all there. So very much appreciated. And that's going to be it for me. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay tuned. I'm going to see if I can find somebody to host.